So today we're going to talk about the Decut Hooky tab, or Hook II, if that's the different way of saying it, tab. Now I've used these for quite a long while. So what we'll do in today's video is we'll sort of go over a little bit of history about my history in tabs and what I used to begin with, and then we'll move on to looking at different ways that you can set this tab up. And then finally what we'll do is we'll measure the differences between a medium and a large tab as well. Okay, so to begin with, when I started archery, I basically obviously came off the beginners class and didn't use a tab on the beginners class because the bows are only about £16. So when I first went to my club, and it might seem a bit strange, I actually went to the first couple of evenings with a golf glove on, a white tight-fitted golf glove, because I didn't buy a tab when I bought my first kit. So that golf glove basically lasted about 2 sessions before it started being ripped to pieces, so I knew I had to buy a tab. So the first tab I kind of bought, and it's looking a bit rough now to be honest, but it's this A&F tab, and you'll see these kind of everywhere. It looks a bit rough now because I've kind of used the leather for waxing the string and and rubbing it into the string, but I've just sort of put this tab back together for this video really. It's quite a basic kind of tab. I didn't really get on with it at all, and that's why I've never used it again really, but it's got a way of just sliding your sort of fingers and hands in there. But the problem is, I find, is that the piece of metal in the middle is kind of very thin and your kind of hand moves about. I mean, some people might like these, but I didn't really get on with it at all, and it kind of put me off sort of tabs again. So I had to look for something else, and I didn't want to spend too much money. Now, I'm not saying this Decut Hooky tab or Hook II tab is the best tab out there, because I've never used another tab. So I've got nothing to compare it against, which is probably not the best thing to say really, but this is how I started off. I basically bought this black medium one. And now what do you get? Well, basically you get, you can see it's a bit worn because the leather's gone a bit thin, that's why I've kind of moved to another one, but I've still got this black one. And basically you get kind of a pinky hook on the bottom here you can put on, and you get your thumb rest at the top here, and then flip it over. By the way, this isn't the original finger sort of holder here. I changed it out. And then you get the white plastic finger spacer there as well. Don't forget I'm left-handed. So that's kind of what you get in them. You get an Allen key with it as well, because what you'll find is that you'll need to make adjustments on these various screws, and you may also find that some of these screws around the backside come loose, and you might need to tighten those up as well. So that was the first tab I bought, and this is basically how I got it set up. I had the pinky kind of hook on here, but basically what I did have was instead of having my thumb on the top, I used to have my thumb underneath, and I used to have this shelf a lot higher along with my top finger. But what I found was this metal then rubbed against my jawline, which didn't feel very nice, so I decided to move it down. So what I do now is I have it with my thumb rested on the top, so I have a nice kind of smooth line along my finger and the thumb along the top. So that's how I've got it set up. But basically what happened also was I decided to take off the pinky bottom part. Basically what I was worried about was that I was worried that I was pulling it downwards. I was kind of pivoting my wrist with the pressure from the sort of pinky, or little finger should I say. So I took it off. So this is what I've got now. It's a lot more basic. The shelf is still the same, but what I've also done here is added a bit of tennis grip around the actual finger spacer to make my fingers span out a bit more, because I was worried about the arrows, my fingers touching the backs of the arrows. So you can see it's quite spread there. And then I usually also do a little bit of cutting inside the leather just to make the opening a little bit wider here as well. So this is the tab I'm currently using right now, and I did go and buy the red version as well, mainly because I have another bow and I wanted to put another one in another bag, although I went a bit severe here with the cut of the angle. I wish I hadn't cut quite so much out. But as you can see, it's not used as much, but I've still got this kind of tennis grip on the back to kind of try and make them look the same. And I've gone with the sign of kind of same height of the shelf and everything like that, so it's practically the same, just less worn in a different color. So that's about how you can kind of set it up with the two pieces, with the pinky, the little finger hook and the top shelf. What I will then want to talk about is sizes. Now, I did a video previously about have you got the right finger tab size, and in that video, and I shall put it in the top description, sorry, in the bottom description, and I shall also link to it in the top of this video. What I did was in that video was I printed out a Fivix hand size chart, and you can measure your hand. So go and check out that video if you want to measure your hand on this A4 printout chart that you can use. So what I did was I thought, well, maybe I'm on the wrong size, because I measured my hand and it sort of showed it was a large, and I'd been shooting mediums all the time. So what did I do? Well, of course I went out and bought a large. So here's the large. As you can see, it's not been used as much, and I've had this quite a while. And so what I did was I set it up to mirror the same as the other one, with the height of the top finger rest and the kind of finger spacer on the back. But what I did was I started using it, and then I found that I didn't like it as much as my medium one. It didn't quite feel as comfortable. So I went back to the medium again. So it isn't always going to be, it's not always going to be where your hand fits that chart that you're going to probably go and have a look at, that it's going to be the right size for you. It might not feel right to you. So you can't always go with what's recommended. It's always really personal, and it's up to you about how it feels, really. So what I thought I'd do is, on these decuts, as I've got two of them, I thought what we'd do now is I thought we'd take some measurements, and I've not measured them before, and I just kind of give you an idea about the different sizes of them to see, is it really worth going larger or not. The reason why it doesn't feel quite as nice is because of the plate is wider here. It feels like this part is kind of digging in my hand a little bit too much, whereas the other one, the medium, is kind of a bit short. I could actually do with something slightly in between. But anyway, let's measure these up and let's see what we find out. Right, so we've got our digital calipers here. Let's start with the height of the large. Where are we? What's she flashing for? So 66.17 millimeters. 62.94, and then let's just do the widest part, 58.26 millimeters. So it's a gap there, you can see. 55.45 millimeters for the width in the medium as well. What else shall we measure? What about the bits of leather? Well, I've sort of cut those a bit, but 43.23, 46.31, so I don't think this is any bigger, but let's measure it anyway. 33, yeah, that's the same size. So I hope that helps you out if you're thinking about buying one of these. It is a good tab. As I say, I've got several of them, so it must be okay for me. You can set them up in various ways. They're good value for money. They will last you a long time, although you should really buy two and then kind of run two at a time, to be honest, so in case you lose one or one breaks, you've got the other one to move over to. Have a look at the hand size chart, see what you should be, and then make your decision from there really. You should be able to buy this Decut Hock tab from most good archery retailers, but I've put a few links in the description below to Amazon UK, where you can find different versions of this online. I've even seen a Hock III finger tab which looks identical to the two actually. So check those links out if you want to have a look at them and order one. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel. Thanks a lot. See you soon.